It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. All right, so another question I get all the time is what are some better ways that we can improve team engagement? So I thought I would use the Agile in the Trenches episode to talk about a few ways that you can improve your team's engagement. Um, Once again, these are things that the book doesn't necessarily teach you, but you need to understand that these things are critical in order to have agile success. So, one of the things that you hear me talk about is team health or a team working agreement. And it's important to make sure not only do you have one, because a lot of organizations have one, but are you practicing what you preach? Are you using it to support increased autonomy or have people do skill mastery or understand the purpose behind what they're trying to do? You should check in with your agreement often and make sure that it helps you to work at the right pace, a sustainable pace, so that you can continue to do that long term, right? Okay, coming in next, you want to make sure you're identifying any silos that exist or dependencies and trying to find ways to solve those issues. So sometimes that requires some cross team pairing. Team John talks a lot about this, where you could have individuals from Team John who join or even audit other teams, if you will, so that it becomes more of a we or our type of situation instead of a me and mine every time, right? So you want to make sure that you're identifying silos, identifying dependencies, and allowing team members the space to go and take care of those. Okay. Speaking of space, you want to make sure you put in a place for learning. Now, you hear me talk about Team John quite a bit, and Team John's more than just handling the in sprint interruptions. Team John is also honing skills. It's sharpening your saw, right? It's taking advantage of things that make you trim around the edges, if you will. It's helping you to cross skill and create opportunities for learning. One of the things that I witness quite a bit when I go into organizations and coach is that oftentimes there's a team lead who has a lot of the information, or people have been there for a long time with a lot of the information, and there's not a whole lot of opportunity to get other people on the team involved in understanding and honing those skills. So I think it's important that we identify and then hone those skills. Okay, so far we want to make sure we measure our team agreement, not only that we have one, but that we're testing frequently to see how we measure up against it. We're identifying and eliminating silos. We're providing a space to let people cross skill and cross train and hone their skills and sharpen their saw. Next, we want to make sure we're leveraging the Scrum Master properly. Now, let me explain that. So, whether it's a Scrum Master or an Agile Coach, you want to make sure that you're not leaning on them to remove every impediment, but that you're leaning on the Scrum Master to remove the specific obstacles that the team can't remove on their own. So, the team should be able to handle and should want to handle everything that they can control. Leave that to them. We don't want to enable them, we want to empower them, right? But with that, there are going to be system issues and things that they can't control. A lot of times, communication things or just trying to get something done that they have no ability to tackle. Sometimes it has to do with financial constraints. Whatever it might be, make sure we understand the role of the Scrum Master and that we're leveraging the Scrum Master or Agile Coach to take care of those things that the team cannot take care of on their own. Okay. Next, we want to make sure that the team feels like they understand their purpose or their goal. And it should be a sprint goal, it should be a team goal, and it should be co created by everyone on the team, not just handed to them. I think that when we provide opportunities for teams to work together and when we provide openness, think about that for a second. If you give teams an opportunity to really co-create the engagement piece. If you give the teams a chance to collectively design their purpose, it's going to make them it's going to make it a lot easier for them to work together and a lot easier for them to understand and get excited about what they're doing. Speaking of which, we should find ways to incentivize teamwork and collaboration instead of individual accomplishment. Now, the last thing I want to do is create another manifesto, but if I did, it would say something about that. We talk about individuals and interactions in the Agile Manifesto, but I want to find a way to really reward teamwork. I love it when teams collaborate. I want to reward teamwork, and I don't want to record. I don't want to reward heroics of a specific individual. Now, that's not to say that we don't recognize when an individual goes above and beyond. It's just saying that we should make a bigger deal over teams collaborating, working together, than we do over one single individual's achievement. And then finally, we need to let the team decide how to manage the way they handle value flow. So, if we truly regard the team as a group of professionals and we truly look at them and say, "Hey, you guys got this knocked out. You nailed this." We need to allow them to do their part of the journey. It was Steve Harvey who said, "If a man spends all day climbing to the top of the mountain, excited because when he gets to the top, he knows he's going to be able to jump from the top of the mountain with a parachute or with a glider and make it back down to the bottom. But when he reaches the top, realizes that there are no parachutes. This can make someone really nervous because they don't know whether they should trust the advisor who's telling them jump. No one wants to jump and plummet to a certain death. But at the same time, Steve Harvey said, the only way anyone would ever be able to spread their wings and fly is that they make it to the top knowing that there's a possibility that they might not have a working parachute. And I thought that that was interesting. The risk meets the reward. It's our opportunity to let teams fly and spread their wings and do the things that are going to help them be successful. So, one more time, quick recap. Make sure we have a team working agreement and we understand it. Make sure we allow teams to work together and do some cross team pairing or training. We need to identify silos, identify dependencies, and break those down. We need to provide space inside of our sprints for Team John, for doing cross training, for honing of skills, for sharpening the saw. We need to make sure we understand the coach and that the coach is there to help them resolve issues that they can't resolve themselves. We need to have the team work together to engage in the purpose of what they're trying to do and set clear goals. We need to work towards incentivizing teamwork and collaboration instead of individual accomplishment. And finally, let the team decide how they're going to manage their value flow. And I think if you do those things, that's going to help you really, really improve team engagement. So that's going to do it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have a topic you want us to talk about, learn more at agiledad.com. We'd love to hear it. As always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.